Welcome to my channel and welcome to the first week series of adding zucchini and using up zucchini in our meals. This week I'm making pasta and adding in zucchini. And as you can see, I am going to use Italian sausage instead of ground beef. Italian sausage just gives it this extra wow. And I would encourage you to give it a try. And I'm going to break up the Italian sausage here. We're very blessed to have neighbors that do a lot of gardening. And one of our neighbors brings over zucchini for us, which is absolutely awesome. I love using zucchini in meals. I feel like it really stretches the meals and you can get more dinners, more lunches out of it. So I highly recommend using zucchinis in the meals, and at this time of the season it's a great option to save some money too, since zucchini is in season. While the meat is cooking, I'm going to go ahead and get the water boiling for the noodles. I decided to go with penne noodles for this. Those are my go-to noodles. I really like penne noodles. When it comes to pasta, I don't really prefer the shells. I also like the mini penne noodles as well. And sometimes I'll get other types of noodles, like ones that are in the shape of swirls, bow ties. But really, I go with the penne noodles. And I like to optimize my time in the kitchen. I'm not really the type of chef or cook. I don't really want to call myself a chef, but for cooking, I like to optimize my time. I know that some people like to prep everything, prep all the vegetables and everything before they start cooking the meat, but I like to get the meat started, and then the meat will take maybe 15 minutes or so, and that's more than enough time to get the water boiling and get the zucchini cut up while that's cooking. I like my zucchini for the pasta to be cut up in quarters. You could cut this any size you really want. You could do half moons, full moons. You could dice it even smaller than this. You could also even shred it and put it into the pasta sauce, so that way it's a little more unnoticeable. You could really blend it too if you wanted to. Blend it in with the sauce, and then no one will have any idea that it's really in there, because zucchini doesn't really have too strong of a taste where someone could tell that there's anything extra in the pasta. So this makes it a really versatile vegetable and gives some extra nutrients into meals you wouldn't necessarily be able to. So it'd probably be good for kids too. You could shred it or blend it in with the sauce and hide it in there so they could get a little bit extra nutrients. If they don't really like vegetables, you could try doing that. I'm trying to remember the first time that I put Italian sausage into pasta, or what it was that made me put Italian sausage in pasta. And the only thing I can think of is that Luke really likes Italian sausage, and I think that what I did is we had leftover whole Italian sausage, and I cut it up into pieces, and I put it into the pasta, and it was so delicious. And it was in like the Italian sausage links. It wasn't ground Italian sausage. And I think I thought, why don't I just get ground Italian sausage and try putting it into the pasta? Really, it's the same thing. It's just ground up, and it's kind of like ground beef. And there's so much extra flavor in the Italian sausage that it just tastes delicious. And then I found out that my uncle also does this too, he puts Italian sausage in there, so I guess it runs in the family. And there's my penne noodles, adding those in. We're getting close to the finish line. Stir it up a little bit. And I like to use the same spatula that as much as possible. I know it was touching raw meat, but the meat's almost cooked. And anyways, with the spatula going into the water, any meat particles that were on the spatula are going to be boiled and cooked anyway. So I'm not really cross-contaminating those two things. I also like to drain the ground beef or Italian sausage when I'm cooking with it. I like to drain it by putting paper towels on a plate and then putting the ground beef or Italian sausage on top of that. And that kind of makes it easier than trying to pour it into a glass jar or down the drain, because you don't really want to ruin your drains by clogging it up with that oil. And I went ahead and left whatever bits from the Italian sausage were in the pan. That's called the fond, and it gives your vegetables an extra yumminess. So go ahead and leave that in there if you go to try this. And so while the vegetables are cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and put away some stuff. So again, I like to optimize my time and do other stuff while the vegetables are cooking. The Italian sausage is draining itself into the paper towels, and the penne noodles are still cooking. So there's a lot of little extra things I can do while I'm waiting on that. And if I was feeling really good and really thought about it and planned it out, I could probably start cooking another meal or prepping another meal while this was getting done. I missed filming this, but I added onions and garlic in with the zucchini. Teddy to the rescue, my little kitchen helper Hoover. He gets to have pretty much anything that falls on the floor as long as it's not something dogs can't have. And finally, I am adding in the zucchini with the Italian sausage, the Italian seasoning, onions, and garlic. I'm a clean as you go. That way, when the meal is done, I don't have much cleaning left to do. There's just something about when I get a meal done, I don't really want to be in the kitchen anymore than I have to. I don't want to sit down, relax, have dinner, and then go back in the kitchen and just see it all destroyed and needing to clean it up. So I'd rather just clean as I go. And I decided that the pasta looked a little dry to me, so I added another jar of pasta sauce.
Easy one.
You're 50% of the way there, buddy.
I feel like 25 because the other one's much.
So Luke came in and told me that he had one of the cedars fixed, and he had bought a cedar and the guy had another cedar, but it was really broken. So Luke fixed one of them, and then now he has to fix the other one. We have 20,000 square feet of grass seed to plant. And I think this needs something extra, Parmesan cheese. And this calls for a taste test, of course. We always need to taste test our food before anyone else tries it. And I'm making sure to try and get a noodle, some zucchini, Parmesan cheese, and Italian sausage. That way I can try all of the pieces together. I call that a thumbs up.